Archangel Michael says the air has turned heavy around your home and heart, and a shadow keeps rearranging the pieces of your life when you look away. The nights feel louder, and even the clock seems to hesitate before moving forward. A presence studies you from the edges, smiling when you stumble and pretending to help when you reach out. He has practiced the art of blending in, keeping one hand on your shoulder and the other on the lever that slows your progress. He arrives with a grin that looks like comfort and leaves with a silence that tastes like dust. He tells people you are strong, then carefully builds small storms just to watch how you survive them. He watches your routine and calculates where to place delay and doubt. He times his calls so your focus drifts at the worst moment. He pretends to protect you while quietly signaling to others that you can be pushed and moved. He does not slam doors because slammed doors can be traced. He chooses creaking hinges and missing emails and detours that look like your idea. He is patient, and his patience keeps bleeding days into weeks until your calendar looks like a battlefield. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Write in the comments, I choose protection and clarity now. He shows up when good news knocks, and he brings small distractions that feel urgent. He tells you he is on your side, then borrows your urgency and spends it on something that benefits him. He speaks in warm tones while guiding you into rooms where your light feels too bright and your voice feels too loud. He collects your fears like trophies and sets them where you can see them every morning. He says he is impressed by your courage, then places a story in the ears of people who must believe in you. He never roars because whispers travel farther and stick longer. He is familiar with your circle and keeps a map of loyalties in his pocket. He tests boundaries not by breaking them but by leaning, smiling, and suggesting a better way that steals your original plan. He thrives on your confusion and feeds on your hesitation. When you rise early to work, he nudges the day off balance, and by noon it feels as if the floor has tilted. When you step into meetings, he plants a memory in someone that does not belong to you. When you try to rest, he sends a thought that repeats like a siren you cannot shut off. Type Amen to get blessing 444. Comment, I cancel every hidden sabotage. He compliments your talent and then introduces a small rumor disguised as concern. He pretends to ask for advice and harvests your strategy to present elsewhere. He keeps receipts of your kindness so he can spend them when he needs a favor that harms your momentum. He says he knows your value and offers to amplify it while watering down your name in rooms you cannot enter yet. He shares your dreams back to you in his voice so you feel grateful to hear them aloud. He sharpens his tools with your trust and calls it collaboration. He collects secrets but never to protect them. He uses half of a truth to build a lie that looks like fairness. He rearranges your timeline so your wins arrive late and your doubts arrive early. Your steps quicken because he keeps putting urgency where rest belongs. Your speech tightens because he keeps moving goalposts while praising your effort. Your heart knows before your head admits that the same smile arrives whenever you begin to shine. Type Amen to get blessing 555. Write in the comments, my path is sealed by light. He learned your schedule without asking, and he learned your thresholds by studying your breath. He looks like support in group photos, standing near enough to claim he tried. He is the handshake that lingers and the offer that seems generous while taking a percentage of your soul. He plays the long game with short moves. He places a call that does not answer. He sends a message that does not contain the whole instruction, then blames the outcome on your timing. He keeps a ledger of what you owe that never reaches zero. He remembers every promise you made while erasing the ones he gave. He introduces you to his networks, and each introduction comes with a string only he can see. He carries a calm voice because calm voices lower your guard. He pretends to despise drama while scripting scenes where you look unprepared. He pushes you to speak first so your words can be rearranged later. Type Amen to get blessing 666. Comment, I am untouchable in purpose. He is not always a stranger. He is sometimes the colleague who knows the emergency exits better than the entrance. He is sometimes the friend who takes a step back just before your victory, then steps forward when the applause begins. He is sometimes the neighbor who notices your deliveries more carefully than your greetings. He is sometimes the relative who calls you family and treats your growth like a rumor that must be corrected. He is sometimes the man who studies your improvement as if it were a threat to the system he built inside your life. You feel the pattern and your body keeps the evidence. The shoulders tense at the sight of his name. The room chills when he arrives because your inner weather predicts storms he plans casually. He is economical with his cruelty and extravagant with his credit. He avoids scenes and prefers signatures. He smiles in public and edits your image in private with the patience of a scribe. Type Amen to get blessing 777. Write in the comments, return everything that is mine by grace. Archangel Michael says your spirit has been filing quiet reports, and today those reports are opened like sealed letters at dawn. The names are highlighted where patterns repeat and kindness is weaponized. The places are circled where delays began as small favors he insisted you accept. The ledger of your life is handed back to you, free of his handwriting. The projects he diluted regain their original color. The allies who were confused feel a sudden clarity and remember your integrity without prompting. The old detours become closed roads and your path straightens like a ribbon pulled taut. The opportunities he borrowed return to your door, ringing the bell with better timing. The rooms that misjudged you set extra chairs because your work requires space. You stop apologizing for strides you earned. You stop shrinking in conversations he curated. You begin to feel the lightness he feared you would discover. Type Amen to get blessing 888. Comment, I welcome swift justice and tender mercy. He relied on your exhaustion and built a small throne on it. He relied on your politeness and traded it for your silence. He relied on your hope and turned it into his insurance. The throne loses height when you sleep well. The silence breaks when you place your truth in the center like a lantern. The insurance expires when you decide to move without his permission. He tries one more time with a soft apology that does not include repair. He tries another time with a new favor that looks urgent. He tries a final time with a warning that sounds like care but carries the weight of control. The first attempt meets your boundary like water meets a wall. The second attempt meets your calendar where your priorities are already booked. The final attempt meets your calm, and the calm refuses to purchase fear. Type Amen to get blessing 999. Write in the comments, I rise calm, clear, covered. Your name begins to travel unedited. Your results speak in full sentences. Your presence becomes a verdict that requires no defense. The rooms he curated for you now feel too small, and you choose halls with higher ceilings. The projects he delayed become new structures with stronger foundations and better doors. The people who were unsure lean forward when you speak because they can hear the original sound of your vision again. He notices that your eyes no longer search for his nod. He notices that your calendar no longer leaves gaps where his interruptions used to live. He notices that your voice carries the weight of decisions you made without asking him for clarity. He cannot calculate a path through a boundary he did not design. He cannot predict a future you chose in the light. He cannot hold the leash to a hope that no longer sits at his feet. Type Amen to get blessing 111. Comment, my boundaries are blessed and enforced. He tries to rename your progress as a coincidence. He tries to claim he advised the very courage he once deluded. He tries to stand near your harvest and pose as a gardener. Your records disagree and your receipts speak in daylight. Your mentors remember who stayed and who staged. Your heart files away the lesson without bitterness and with a precision that guides your tomorrow. You forgive yourself for not seeing sooner because the disguise was crafted from your kindness. You release the weight he placed on your chest because your breath is not a currency to spend. You reclaim the hours by naming them yours, and time obeys. The geography of your life changes and the path becomes honest. The sun returns at different angles and the same rooms feel new. The house inside you opens windows that were painted shut. Type Amen to get blessing 222. Write in the comments, I reclaim time, energy, and favor. He retreats toward places where confusion is still for sale. He looks for new listeners who love harmony more than truth. He carries his old scripts and hopes the next circle has not learned your lesson. Your circle shifts and strengthens. Your agreements become explicit and your yes carries structure. Your no arrives early and travels with presence. You begin to move with a rhythm he cannot imitate. You build with a method he cannot interrupt. You rest with a confidence he never wanted you to own. The people who love you notice the difference in your eyes. The plans you shelved quietly step forward. The doors you once watched open for others now unlock at your touch. Type Amen to get blessing 1010. Comment, every good thing finds me on time. He used to set clocks that ran 5 minutes against you. He used to underline your flaws with invisible ink that appeared under pressure. He used to send messages that sounded like care while carrying cargo that slowed your heart. Those clocks are replaced by alignment that honors your pace. That ink dries into nothing because pressure no longer summons shame. Those messages lose their destination because your spirit filters what enters your house. The old anxiety leaves the room like a guest who overstayed. The old second-guessing folds its chair and disappears. The old hesitation returns to the shop it came from and asks for a refund it does not receive. Your momentum gathers, not as a sprint, but as a river with direction. Your choices sharpen, not as a blade against yourself, but as a key that fits. Your voice settles, not as a whisper, but as a bell that knows when to ring. Type Amen to get blessing 1212. Write in the comments, my voice rings true and opens right doors. Archangel Michael says the armor around you gleams with a light that interrupts schemes before they form. The watchers who endorsed your fatigue step back, and the helpers who waited for your signal step in. The map of your future updates in real time and leaves no space for the detours he designed. You receive messages that honor your time. You meet allies who honor your boundaries. You sign agreements that honor your worth. Your peace begins to set the tone in every room. Your courage begins to set the pace on every road. Your faith begins to set the weather over every plan. The man who engineered your delays learns that doors can close gently and completely. The systems he relied on decline his access like a card that has reached its limit. The stage he built with borrowed kindness goes dark and the audience turns toward your work. Type Amen to get blessing 1313. Comment, only aligned doors remain open. He moves toward places where your name is not known. He searches for new stories to occupy and new hearts to exhaust. He travels with a suitcase full of rehearsed sincerity and a mirror he never looks into. You travel lighter. You travel with names that match your spirit. You travel with a schedule that centers your calling. You design mornings that feed your purpose and evenings that honor your rest. You collect evidence of your growth and store it where doubt cannot edit. You teach your body that calm is safe and progress can be gentle. You keep your promises to yourself and let that be your reputation. You keep your focus and let results be your broadcast. You keep your joy and let that be your shield. Type Amen to get blessing 1414. Write in the comments, joy is my shield, truth is my path. He fades from the edges of your life like a rumor that cannot survive sunlight. He becomes a lesson rather than a landmark. He remains a caution, never again a companion. Your spirit honors the day you noticed and the day you acted. Your heart honors the version of you who survived the detours. Your future honors the work you did in quiet rooms with steady hands. You do not chase revenge because you no longer carry the debt. You do not rewrite the past because the present is abundant enough. You do not negotiate your value because it is not a discount code. You walk through places that used to make you small and you remain your full height. You revisit goals he delayed and they welcome you like old friends. You build new visions with better measurements and clearer light. Type Amen to get blessing 1515. Comment, I step into fullness without apology. He once positioned himself as necessary. He once convinced you that his approval was a gate. He once narrated your life as if your voice were a guest on his stage. You no longer rent your horizon to narrators who did not invest in your dawn. You no longer price your peace at a rate he can afford. You no longer translate your dreams into a dialect that flatters sabotage. The engines of your destiny warm without noise. The wheels of your calling roll without friction. The windows of your plan open without argument. Your allies recognize you by the way you care for what you were given. Your opportunities recognize you by the way you prepare for what you will carry. Your legacy recognizes you by the way you protect your name. Type Amen to get blessing 1616. Write in the comments, my legacy is guarded and growing. Archangel Michael says the season of hidden hands guiding your steps into narrow corners has ended. The room widens, the ceiling lifts, and your voice stands in the center with calm authority. The man behind the curtain loses his grip because nothing in your life is built on his approval. You choose doors that open because you are ready, not because you are desperate. You choose assignments that match your capacity, not because someone else is rushing you. You choose rest that restores rather than distracts. You reclaim your reputation, your rhythm, and your radiance. You return to the dream without apology. You rise with a steadiness that frightens confusion and reassures love. The man is the one who smiled while moving your markers, and he now stands outside the gates of your peace. The man is the one who traded your trust for leverage, and he now watches you prosper without his permission. The man is the one who studied your delays for profit, and he now studies your acceleration with silence. Type Amen to get blessing 1717. Comment: this chapter is sealed and blessed.